Close your eyes for a second. Imagine the hiss of scales sliding over dry earth, the flicker of a forked tongue tasting the air. Now, picture that same snake, not in the wild, but behind glass, in neat rows of climate-controlled pens, part of an industry that processes millions of them every single year. This isn't a horror movie. It's China's snake farming industry, an ancient practice meeting modern demand in ways you'd never expect. From fashion runways to traditional medicine cabinets, snakeskin is quietly shaping global markets. And today, we're going inside one of the world's most unusual and overlooked agricultural systems. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to show you something real, a complex, often misunderstood world where biology, business, and belief collide. Ready for the next part? Snake farming in China didn't start with factories or export quotas. It began centuries ago, in villages where every part of an animal had value. In traditional Chinese medicine, snake bile, blood, and even whole dried snakes have been used for generations to treat everything from arthritis to skin conditions. And snake skin, it wasn't just discarded. It was dried, stretched, and crafted into drums, decorative items, or even protective charms. But the real shift came in the 1980s. As China opened its economy, demand for luxury goods surged, especially from Europe and the US. Designer handbags, boots, and watch straps made from python or cobra skin became status symbols. Suddenly, wild snakes weren't enough. Overhunting threatened several species, and conservation laws kicked in. So Chinese farmers did something remarkable. They turned to domestication. What began as backyard experiments, keeping a few snakes in rice bins or bamboo cages, quickly evolved into full-scale operations. Today, provinces like Guangxi and Guangdong host thousands of snake farms, some spanning dozens of acres, housing over 20 million snakes annually. It's a story not of exploitation, but of adaptation, turning an ancient relationship with a feared creature into a regulated, if controversial, industry. Ready to see how these farms actually work? Walk into a modern snake farm in southern China, and you might be surprised. It's quiet, clean. Rows of stacked plastic bins, each labeled by species and age, sit under soft LED lighting. Temperature and humidity are monitored 24/7. These aren't dungeons. They're animal husbandry facilities, closer to poultry farms than horror films. Most farms raise non-venomous species like the Chinese cobra, banded kite, or Burmese python, all chosen for their skin quality and growth rate. They're fed a diet of frozen thawed rodents or specially formulated pellets. And yes, they molt. But the prized skin for leather isn't for molting. It's harvested after humane euthanasia, typically by cooling the snake to induce torpor, then a quick, regulated method approved under China's animal welfare guidelines for reptiles. Then comes the real craftsmanship. Workers carefully peel the skin in one piece, from head to tail. It's stretched on wooden frames, salted to preserve it, and air-dried for days. After that, it's packed and shipped, not to local markets, but to tanneries in Italy, France, or even back to Guangzhou, where it's drum-dyed, polished, and transformed into luxury goods. One farm we spoke with processes over 50,000 snakes a month. Each skin can sell for anywhere from $10 to $200, depending on size, pattern, and species. The rest of the animal, nothing goes to waste. Meat goes to specialty restaurants. Fat becomes ointments. Bones are ground for supplements. It's a full-circle system, one that feels more like artisanal agriculture than industrial slaughter. Shall we look at how technology is changing this ancient trade? You might not expect cutting-edge tech in snake farming, but it's here. On some of China's larger farms, AI-powered cameras now monitor snake behavior, detecting signs of stress or illness before they spread. Automated climate systems mimic seasonal cycles to encourage optimal growth and skin quality. Even breeding has gone high-tech. Geneticists are selectively pairing snakes to produce more uniform scale patterns, something luxury brands crave for consistency. And then there's traceability. Thanks to blockchain pilots launched in 2023, a handbag sold in Paris can now be traced all the way back to the farm where the snake was raised. Why does that matter? Because CITES, the International Wildlife Trade Treaty, requires proof that skins aren't from endangered wild populations. Digital records, QR codes, and farm certifications are becoming the industry's new backbone. Even the tanning process is evolving. Traditional methods used heavy metals like chromium, which polluted waterways. Now, some Chinese tanneries are switching to plant-based tannins or closed-loop water systems that recycle 95% of their wastewater. It's a quiet revolution, driven not just by regulation, but by global brands demanding ethical sourcing. This isn't your grandfather's snake farm. It's a fusion of tradition and tech, a glimpse into how even the most unusual industries can modernize with purpose. Want to talk about the environmental and ethical questions around all this? Let's be honest, snake farming makes people uneasy, and that's fair. But here's what most critics miss. When done responsibly, farming snakes can actually protect wild populations. Before regulated farms existed, poachers decimated wild pythons across Southeast Asia. Now, over 90% of the python skins in global trade come from captive-bred sources, mostly in China and Vietnam. Still, it's not perfect. Some smaller farms cut corners. Wastewater runoff, overcrowding, or lack of veterinary care remain real concerns. And while China has national guidelines, enforcement can be patchy in rural areas. But here's the hopeful part. A growing number of farms are pursuing certifications like the Wildlife Justice Commission's ethical sourcing standard or partnering with NGOs to improve animal welfare. Some are even using snake farming to fund local conservation, like one Guangxi cooperative that reinvests profits into reforestation projects that protect natural snake habitats. And consider this. Reptile farming uses far less land and water than cattle or even poultry. Snakes are cold-blooded. They don't need constant feed or heated barns. In a world racing towards sustainable protein and materials, snake leather might be one of the lowest impact luxury options out there if managed well. So is it sustainable? The answer isn't black and white, but the trend is moving in the right direction, and that's worth paying attention to. Ready to explore why this industry matters so deeply in China, beyond just money. In many rural Chinese communities, snake farming isn't just a business, it's a lifeline. In Guangxi's Guangdong County, entire villages have shifted from rice farming to reptile husbandry.
Why?
1 acre of snake pens can earn 10 times more than an acre of rice. For families with limited land or education, it's a path out of poverty. But it's more than economics. There's deep cultural weight here. In southern Chinese folklore, snakes symbolize wisdom, healing, and protection. During festivals, snake-shaped lanterns are lit. Elders still brew medicinal wines with dried snakes, believed to strengthen bones and ward off wind illnesses. To dismiss this as superstition misses the point. It's part of a living tradition. And globally, China's role is pivotal. It supplies over 60% of the world's farmed snake skins, fueling a $1.2 billion luxury leather market. Brands like Gucci and Hermes don't advertise it, but many of their exotic skin lines trace back to Chinese farms. That connection, between a village in Guangdong and a Paris boutique, is a quiet thread in the fabric of global trade. So when we talk about snake farming, we're not just talking about animals or fashion. We're talking about identity, resilience, and the complex ways tradition adapts to a changing world. Want to look ahead into the future of this surprising industry? The future of snake farming in China hinges on one word: trust. As younger consumers demand transparency, especially Gen Z and millennials who care deeply about animal welfare and sustainability, the industry can't rely on secrecy anymore. That's why some forward-thinking farms are opening their doors to journalists, researchers, and even eco-tourists. Virtual farm tours, live feeds, and third-party audits are becoming the new norm. There's also innovation on the horizon. Lab-grown snake skin, yes, it's being prototyped, could one day satisfy luxury demand without raising a single reptile. But that's years away. For now, the real opportunity lies in elevating standards, better welfare protocols, cleaner processing, and fair wages for workers. And perhaps the most powerful shift, changing the story. Instead of framing snakes as monsters or mere commodities, a new narrative is emerging, one that sees them as part of a delicate balance between culture, conservation, and commerce. Because in the end, this isn't really about skin. It's about how we choose to coexist, with creatures we fear, with traditions we inherit, and with a planet that asks us to do better. So, what do you think? Is snake farming a necessary adaptation, or a line we shouldn't cross? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is one of those topics where there are no easy answers, only honest conversations. If this deep dive into China's snake farming industry surprised you, or made you see snakes in a new light, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more curious minds like yours. And if you're wondering what other hidden corners of global agriculture we should explore next, mushroom leather labs, insect protein farms, let us know in the comments. We read every single one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, so you never miss a story that challenges what you thought you knew. Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and remember, sometimes the most unexpected truths come from the places we're least willing to look. Thanks for watching.